Just stop following behind this man before you end up in a cabin or something with him on some kind of male retreat. Okay. Hi, everybody. This video is about Kevin Samuels. Like, okay, so men seem to be very on board with Kevin Samuels. And apparently there are women who want his version of a high value man. Or yeah, he according to him, whenever a woman is on his little podcast or whatnot, he asks them all these questions. For one thing, asks them to rate themselves, and being rated by somebody with that dry of skin is offensive in and of itself. Insults it, like he, it's very clear the hatred that he has for females. And I know it's clear to anyone with eyeballs that somebody really, a female, not somebody, some lady really did him in emotionally, because this is all clearly vengeance. He speaks in this rage tone. It's like this controlled rage thing that he has. Don't interrupt me. Don't speak while I'm speaking. Don't try to talk over me. I can't imagine standing in front of somebody with that dry level of skin telling me, don't try to talk over me. I can't see it. I don't know what that would look like. It'd be like, you just get a water lotion and just throw it at him. Put this on your face and then repeat what you said, okay? Because I can't take you seriously when you flaking like that. I can't. I just can't do it. So, but his skin aside, his dry skin aside, okay? He sprayed on his cologne on himself. I don't know where the lotion is. You need both, Kevin. You need both. But he, according to him, and you guys want to jump on board and go Kevin, these women come on, he asks them all these questions and stuff, and then he'll ask them about their education. And then when they answer, and the answer is very educated, couple master's degrees, he immediately follows that with, high value men don't care about that. That's worthless. That's that's a problem. And the things that apparently a high value man want are, for you to be basically dumb, flatlinely hot, as meaning that they all look the same. There's only one level of hotness in the eyes of Kevin Samuels. Beyonce apparently is a 7. No, Beyonce is an 8, because nobody is a 7. That's right. He says that for a reason. But just to put it in perspective of me saying he's hateful to all women, and even in his compliments or insults, he says this religiously. He says, "How would you rate yourself?" And you can't use a 7. And note that Beyonce is an 8, Kelly Rowland is a 9, and Rihanna with her big ass forehead, his words, Rihanna with her big ass forehead is a 10. Even in putting Beyonce at an 8 and Rihanna as a 10, still had to insult Rihanna with her big ass forehead, is what he says. So, and then says, rate yourself, and you can't be a 7. Automatically, no matter what, no matter who calls there, clearly, nobody is getting past that 6. And if the ones who still just view themselves, they have high self-esteem, and they still will say, I'm an 8, I'm a 9, I'm a 10, he will quickly tell them no, or laugh at them when they say it. Oh, you think that you're a 9. You think that. You think you're a 9. Like, nigga, you think you give good advice? We all think different things. I mean, we all sometimes. You think you smart. You think you're not emotionally wounded and taking it out on the rest of the world. Clearly, we're all wrong sometimes, Kevin. You know, that's how I feel. Like, this thing, this lab rat is like trying to create this standard, and guys are just jumping on board, don't care that he insults everybody. Just like, it's the most confusing thing. I tell you that one of the most confusing things is, it seems like he'll ask you, what kind of man are you looking for? And of course they all say, I want the high value man, which he then gives them numbers of how many of those that there are who are even havable, where you can even, where they're even available. So, and the numbers then look bleak. So it sounds when he says these things, it sounds like what he's trying to do, you would think that he was trying to get women to be more realistic, and just be like, why not date somebody or marry somebody who is on the same, say, level as yourself or under, right? It seems like that's what he's getting to. And so all these guys are like, yeah, but there have been plenty of women on there, and I have watched plenty of videos because I used to find them extremely amusing. I even used to be like, yeah, get them, Kevin, because some of the ladies are a little strange, and the expectations don't meet their own personal ambition, so it's like, you want to do nothing, but you want everything. And then you want to even insult the guys who don't have all that stuff. It's like, so it was like, I was like, okay, I see it. It's terrible, But once you watch enough of it, you start to catch on to, there's a pattern here, that there actually is no right answer. There's no right answer to give Kevin. There's no right answer. So it seems like that's what he's getting people to lean towards. So he has this girl, I remember this particular, there was this one woman, and he asked her what type of man that she is looking for. She's, and he says, just like somebody who's like her, makes like, like average amount or whatever, like, 50,000, just like whatever, just like a normal person like herself, just that works hard, whatever. And he says, well, do you want kids? And she says, yeah. How many kids do you want? He says, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3. Do you know how much it costs to do you plan on being home with the kids, or do you plan on like having someone else raise them? Well, I mean, I would assume that we have to, both work because da. But if he only makes this amount, then this is how much. He says, oh, do you know how much it costs to raise a child? And right now, like what time it is, like how much that costs. Then he goes over how much it is. And then he expressly says that if you expect to stay home, which you need to, because you're going to have somebody else raise your kids, he downs her for the idea that someone else might be assisting in raising the kids because she has to work, because both of them make, this middle ground amount of money. So now he's saying basically you need to stay home. and then emphasizes how the man don't make enough. So how is that going to work? So now, so he doesn't want you to. It's like it's like, stop wanting the man who makes this. Start wanting the man who makes this. But if you have the man who makes this, know that you can't have kids. Or if you do have kids, you're going to have to be a shitty mom who has somebody else raise them because you got to go to work. And then you're going to be a terrible wife and mom. So you tell me exactly what the right answer is. Because you going and getting all these degrees and making all this money, according to Kevin, doesn't matter. It's pointless. You're gonna be unhappy because you're gonna be by yourself, because no high value man is gonna want a woman who is always, going and doing all of these things and is not submissive, and there is no right answer. So these women are basically just calling in to be yelled at and to be degraded by this man with this ashy ass skin, dancing in his dark room in his chair, listening to it's dark in there and you can still see his ashy ass fucking skin. You're not supposed to be able to tell that in that lighting, but you can. Somebody hurt that man. Somebody need to come clean up this here mess that they made. That is Kevin Samuels. And these guys, please be careful following behind this man, because there are these people who are saying, and he calls this out all the time, which I think is hilarious. He says the first thing a woman say when a man says something that they don't like is he gay. He keeps using that as this thing, and the guys are like, yeah, that's right. They always use that excuse. But there is I point out a specific episode of a girl who came on his podcast. It was a woman. Sorry, a woman came on his podcast. It was a white lady. I believe she had like reddish hair. She was like she was in her kitchen, and behind her is like her kitchen, and everything is like a brownish color wood. And she was a firefighter, which should make it easier to figure out which video that was. But he's on there with talking to this white lady, and I think he's going at her with the energy that he is, because she's a firefighter, so she got a little muscle. Maybe she looked to him a little masculine or something, right? Oh, in fact, I do know that was what it was, because that man. But but in this little video thing with him talking to this lady, he's expressing to her, which I've never heard him go in on this topic in particular, but he was really going in on that men don't need women need men. I mean, he pointed out like the nuclear power places and stuff, like the only people who know how to control these things and stuff in them, they keep them going to where they wouldn't explode and everything go up, is men. It would take too long to train women. If men just didn't exist, and they would die in like that. Like, men don't need women. And then he says men don't need women need men. And he said, to the point where he says, think about it. In like in the old times, when there were like kings and queens and shit, when they would go out to war, that there were no women there. They had like squires and shit to fuck on. Like, that is so we don't need women, is what he said. So when y'all are behind him chanting his praises, please understand that when people accuse this man of being gay, this particular man, not all men, Okay, because I do understand. I know that there are girls, and I've heard them do it. When if a guy don't like, if they just walk by and a guy doesn't turn his head and look, they'll turn around and be like, "He gay." Or if she tries to talk to a dude and he's like, don't respond to her, she go first thing come out of her mouth, he gay. So I know that they do that. I know they do that. But this, in his case, there's a reason, because just be careful listening to this man, because it does kind of seem, if you listen to enough of his stuff, don't just listen for what you like or what, you know, is helping you or makes you feel better. Listen to what this person is saying, because it is not in your best favor. It is not in your best interest. He don't care about rich dudes. He don't care about the little guy, the little minimum wage earner. He don't care about middle class. He don't care about none of that. He don't care about none of these dudes. He care about his pockets. And whatever this revenge thing that he's on, where some woman clearly gave him a run for his money, I suppose. And so he is just trying to make some kind of point by belittling and lashing out at every single woman that crosses his path. I can't even imagine him being like nice to a woman, like saying anything nice, unless she like works for him or makes him money somehow. Like, unless like there's a dude or something who's with a girl, and if he says something shitty to her, her boyfriend is gonna knock his ass out, and he know it, and he can see it in the dude's eyes. That's it. I can't see him saying anything positive or nice to any female. And then you got to ask yourself why. And if this is somebody who is making the point that you want to make, is that the point that you want to make? Just ask yourself that. Like, I get it completely. And, you know, especially coming off of the whole thing with the guy, that Jackson dude. What was his name? The Jackson guy who was like pandering to the women, you know, telling them what they want to hear. And then it turned out that he was like terrible, you know, and like not practicing what he preached. And the women were like all on board with him, like, yeah, niggas ain't shit. And then when it turned out that he wasn't shit, they were all like, oh. I get it. It's like somebody seemed like he's somebody rooting for you, but he's not. This particular one is not. And it is going to crumble. It is going to fall. It absolutely has to. It has to. It absolutely is going to crack. And the people who were singing his praises are going to now look like they were in camp with him. Okay, so just don't just listen to people to tell you. It's the same thing for women. Like, don't listen to people who just tell you what you want to hear. They know that that's what you want to hear. So be wise enough to know that that may be why they're telling you that. That may be why. And if it makes sense, like if he's getting all of these viewers and stuff, that's a formula that works. He found a formula that was working. So now he's just using the formula that he knows works. It's not about you. It's not about helping you. It's about helping them pockets. They're trying to, you know, get that money, get the money up, get that bag. You are a bag to them, you know. Like, ugh, it's so weird. And honestly, the weirdest thing is that I've never met a guy who fell into that category of what he calls a high value man and asked him, do you want a stupid woman? And he said yes. I ain't never heard that. And every time I run into one, his wife is one of those people who has all these degrees and does all of this stuff. And what was all that? Then we just go through a whole generation of, I love her because she got her own. Like, what happened to that? Like, independence. You know, women only became this way because guys started slacking. They were just picking up the pieces. It's the same thing that happened back in the day when women didn't work at all and they used to just be housewives. And in war, during times of war, when all the men were gone, all the men were gone. So what did the women have to do? Get up and go and work. It's the same thing that happened, except for now the men aren't off at war. They're just off doing a whole lot of nothing. And so women, somebody still gotta do it. And so then they started doing it. And then there's a whole nother generation came behind them, and then they're just school. They just go to school. And not to mention the black ones, they have to go to school. They have to not only get the degree, but get a couple of degrees, get the master's degree, because a black woman with a master's degree is equivalent to a white man with an associate's degree as far as money goes. And this is why. So it's like being punished for doing what you had to do. You know, like it's so dumb. It's like this icky thing. And then the more women watch guys bash women who do these things, it doesn't make women want to stop doing it. It makes women want to not deal with men. That's what it does. It makes them, it like shows the insecurity. It like reeks of it. It reeks of it. It smells just like jealousy and envy. It smells exactly like what it is. Your self-esteem is low because you don't feel like you're living up to your potential, and so you are taking it out on me. It's an old thing. That thing is not new. You did not come up with that formula. That is an old man thing. It's pride related. So, you know, just stop following behind this man before you end up in a cabin or something with him on some kind of male retreat. And learn the hard way. That's all I'm saying. So that's all. That's all I'm saying. If you made it to the end of this, like and subscribe. Please subscribe. If you made it to the end of this and didn't subscribe, I'm going to take it absolutely personal. Later, Gators.